We all experience negative thoughts from time to time. It's a natural part of being human. But when these thoughts become repetitive, intrusive, and automatic, they can negatively impact our mental health and overall well-being. These patterns of thinking are referred to as ANTS, or automatic negative thoughts. ANTS are habitual, reflexive thoughts that often arise without us even realizing it. They tend to distort reality and lead to feelings of anxiety, depression, low mood, low self esteem. And understanding how to recognize and challenge ANTS is crucial for maintaining mental resilience and fostering a healthier mindset. In this video, we'll explore what ANTS are, how they affect our minds, and strategies to stop or reframe them into more balanced and constructive thoughts. I'm Jo Banks. I've been a professional executive business coach for 15 years, and I'm sharing what I know. What are ANTS? Automatic negative thoughts. ANTS are spontaneous, unhelpful thoughts that pop into our minds without conscious effort. They often reflect distorted perceptions of reality and can lead us to jump to negative conclusions. ANTS are shaped by past experiences, underlying beliefs, and cognitive biases. While some level of negativity in thought patterns can serve as a protective mechanism, especially in threatening situations, ants become harmful when they dominate our thinking and affect how we interpret the world. Common types of ants. Ants manifest in various forms, but here are some of the most common types. Number one, all or nothing thinking, or black and white thinking. This type of thinking leads us to view situations in extremes. There is no middle ground. Things are either perfect or a complete failure. For example, if you make a small mistake at work, you might conclude, I'm terrible at my job and I'm always going to mess things up. Number two, overgeneralization. Overgeneralization involves taking a single negative event and assuming it will always happen that way. For instance, after a bad date, you might think, I'm never going to find love. Every relationship is doomed to fail. Number three, mental filtering. This occurs when you focus solely on the negative aspects of a situation and filter out all of the positives. So imagine receiving praise at work, but making one minor mistake. Instead of appreciating the positive feedback, you dwell on that one error. Number four, catastrophizing. Catastrophizing is when you automatically assume the worst case scenario. You might think, if I don't get this job, I'll be out of work forever and I'll never get another one. Number five is personalization. This involves blaming yourself for things that are not your fault. For example, if a friend seems upset, you may immediately think, I must have done something to make them angry. Number six, labeling. Labeling occurs when you assign harsh, fixed labels to yourself or others based on isolated incidents. If you make a mistake, you might think, I'm such an idiot, rather than recognizing that it was a one-time error. Number seven, mind reading. And oh my goodness, this is a common one. You assume that you know what others are thinking without any real evidence. For instance, you might think they must think I'm boring without asking them or considering other possibilities. Or you might think that people are judging you when they're not. Or you might think that people think a certain way about you without any evidence whatsoever. The impact of ants on our mental health. Ants can significantly affect mental health, contributing to conditions such as anxiety, depression, and even chronic stress. When we continuously engage in negative thinking patterns, it reinforces negative beliefs about ourselves and the world around us. Over time, This can lead to a self-fulfilling cycle of low mood and reduced self-esteem. Here are some of the key impacts that I see really frequently in clients. Number one, increased anxiety. Ants often increase fears and worries, causing you to feel constantly on edge or expecting the worst. This can make it difficult to relax or enjoy everyday activities. Number two, depression. Constant negative self-talk and hopelessness can lead to feelings of sadness, worthlessness, and despair characteristic of depression. Number three, self-doubt and low confidence. When ants dominate, you may feel less confident in your abilities and choices as these thoughts erode your sense of self-worth. Number four, relationship struggles. Ants can distort how you interpret interactions with others, leading to misunderstandings, resentment, and unnecessary conflict. How to stop ants? Fortunately, ants can be managed and reduced with conscious effort and practice. It's not an overnight thing though. As I say with many of the things that I work with clients on is this is like gym for the brain. It's not a one and done. You have to keep doing these practices in order for them to make a difference. Cognitive behavioral techniques, mindfulness, and self-compassion are among the most effective strategies for challenging and reframing these thoughts. Here are some practical ways to combat ants. Number one, identify and label the ant. The very first step in managing ants is recognizing when they occur. And that can sometimes be the hardest part, especially if you've been a negative thinker for a long time. Or if, like me, you were brought up in a particularly negative household, you might not even recognize that you're having negative thoughts to begin with. So pay attention to your thoughts, particularly in situations where you feel stressed, anxious, or particularly low mood or down. When you notice a negative thought, ask yourself, what type of ant is this? So from the labels that I mentioned earlier, by labeling it, for example, overgeneralizing or catastrophizing, and you might actually be able to put a couple or three labels to your thoughts. Once you do this, you can start to distance yourself from the thought and view it more objectively. Number two, challenge the thought. Once you've identified the ant, challenge its validity. Ask yourself these questions, and you might want to do this in a journal. Is this thought based on facts or assumptions? What evidence do I have that this thought is true? Incidentally, there probably will be no evidence. Am I jumping to conclusions or catastrophizing? How would I respond to a friend if they were having this thought? By questioning the negative thought, you can begin to see it as a distortion rather than a reflection of reality. Number three, replace ants with balanced thoughts. After challenging the negative thought, work on replacing it with a more balanced, realistic one. For example, if your ant was, I'll never succeed at anything, you might replace it with, I've had successes in the past and I can improve and learn from this experience. The goal isn't to replace negative thoughts with overly positive, happy, clappy ones, but rather with a more rational, constructive alternative that reflect reality. Number four, practice mindfulness. Mindfulness involves being present in the moment and observing your thoughts without judgment. By practicing mindfulness, you can create space between yourself and your ants, allowing you to observe them without getting caught up in them. Techniques such as meditation, deep breathing, grounding exercises, and I've done videos on all of those things, I'll leave links below, can help you stay centered and focused on the present rather than ruminating on negative thoughts. However, one caveat with this. Feeling your emotions and processing your thoughts is important. So it's not just about whitewashing over them and pretending that they aren't there. That's not what we're talking about here. Number 5, use positive affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements that challenge negative beliefs. Regularly repeating affirmations can help you rewire your brain and foster a more optimistic mindset. For example, instead of thinking, I'm just not good enough, repeat something like, I'm capable and worthy of success. Affirmations can be particularly effective when practiced consistently over time, helping you to counterbalance the habitual negative thinking. However, I've found one caveat with affirmations. You must believe the affirmation is true for your brain to accept it. Some people disagree with me on that one, but not in my experience. For example, merely saying something like the popular affirmation, I am enough, might not work for you. I know it didn't used to work for me because it was part of my brain that was saying, no, you're not. So instead, changing it to something like, today I will choose to be kinder to myself, is much more powerful. Number 6, journal your thoughts. And I have discussed journaling in lots of my videos. Journaling your thoughts is a powerful tool in managing ants. By writing down your thoughts, and you can use the prompts that I discussed earlier, you can process and reflect on them in a structured way. We can't process stuff while it's in our head. So either talking about it out loud or journaling are the best ways to deal with these types of negative thoughts. Journaling also helps you track patterns over time, making it easier to recognize recurring ants and to challenge them. You can ask yourself key questions in your journal, such as, what triggered this thought? What type of ant is this? What's a more realistic way to think about this situation? Number 7, seek professional support. If ants are persistent and severely impacting your daily life, it may be beneficial to seek support from a mental health professional. Therapists and coaches such as myself, who are trained in cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, I am trained in CBT, and it can really help you develop strategies to identify, challenge, and replace ants. Working with a professional can provide guidance tailored to your specific thought patterns and experiences. The wrap up. Automatic negative thoughts are an inevitable part of life, but they don't have to control it. By learning to recognize, challenge, and reframe these thoughts, you can break free from the cycle of negativity and develop a healthier, more balanced mindset. Overcoming ants takes time, practice, and patience, but the benefits, improved mental health, stronger relationships, and greater confidence, are so well worth the effort. The next time you catch yourself in a negative thought spiral, remember that you have the power to pause, reflect, and choose a different perspective. In doing so, you'll cultivate resilience and foster a more positive outlook on life. One final thing, this is not just let's think positive. That's not what I'm talking about here. This is not dismissing the negative thoughts. It's processing them and replacing them with more realistic ones. Just thought it was really important to make that distinction. What next? If you have anything you'd like to say on this topic, or if there's anything you'd like me to cover in an upcoming video, please leave it in the comments section below. I read and reply to everything and really love interacting with you all. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss a thing. Finally, thank you to everybody who stays until the very end, and thank you so much for your support. It really means the absolute world to me.